judges have gone back into practice?
It depends on the level.
Oh, okay.
How high up they were. But the higher you go, the more they don't want you to go back to regular practice.
You know what? I hope we've got some judges listening in tonight.
Well, it's going to get a lot uglier. This story's just warming up here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well, listen, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I'm going to for just a moment.
Go ahead.
Before we get too far away, because it's been a long time since we've mentioned this, and I'd like to think we've got a few new listeners out there. But take that dollar bill back out, and you'll find some very interesting things about it.
There's an owl, a little owl.
Yeah, well, that is one, and that's hard to tell people where to look, but it is there, and that's definitely...
I can tell them where to look. I got $1 here somewhere.
Well, where do you look then, Dave? How would you describe it?
Okay, you go to the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah.
On the front.
On the front of the bill?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's a 1 there.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a crest around the 1.
Okay.
Upper left corner of the crest.
Upper left corner of the crest.
There's a small owl. You have to have a magnifying glass to see it.
I can see it.
But it represents the secret Masonic order of the owls, basically.
Of the owls?
Well, I don't know if that's called the owls, but it's there for a reason. It's a secret symbol. You got any comments about the owl bin, Zavinia? No. He says no.
Okay.
But it has to do with that secret. You ever seen that grove where all the presidents meet and they're wearing the Ku Klux Klan robes?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what that owl represents. It's a group. They had a picture, I saw it, with each president, like for, a whole generation of presidents, and they were all wearing their white sheets and their robes.
Yeah.
I think you've seen the picture.
I have.
I know it's a shocking picture, and nobody believes it when they see it, but that has to do with the owl. It's some kind of control over presidencies.
Okay. Now, let's take a look at the eagle. I find it curious that on the left he's got, I believe, 32 feathers, and if you put it under the microscope, you'll find that's
32. 32 is a key.
Finish first. And on the right wing, he's got 33 feathers. Dave?
Well, there's a reason for that.
Okay.
In the Masonic order, the British Masonic order, I'll clarify that. Because right now we are a British Masonic country, every inch of us. That's why we have the Fraternal Order of the Police, the Fraternal Order of Firefighters.
And the Masonic papers in the cornerstone of the White House.
Right, okay. We are a British Masonic country. Now, we started out British. We threw the British out because the Founding Fathers wanted no part of this maritime system.
Right.
We sided with the French. We were good friends and allies with the French. They gave us the Statue of Liberty. The Civil War started. We became a British country again when we became a democracy.
Okay.
The reason the communists have always hated the word democracy is because it's a buzzword for British rule. Anyway, back to the feathers.
Okay.
32 feathers is the highest level that a Mason will normally claim that you can go.
Uh-huh.
George Bush and Rockefeller and Rothschild are 33 or above.
Or above.
That's where the secret society becomes a secret society within a secret society.
And the sadness is that 99% probably of the good people that belong to the Masons don't even know.
Know it exists.
Don't know a thing about what's going on.
Now, see, when George Bush came out during the All-Star game, he had 33 on his jersey when he was president.
Uh-huh.
And I had my father go to the, I didn't have him, he just went to Richard Milhouse Nixon's funeral.
Uh-huh.
And my dad's a very staunch Republican, but he overheard Henry Kissinger at the gravesite say, "Here lies a good Mason." Now, Henry Kissinger is a Mason, and so is Nixon and all the other boys. But this is not a bash the Masons. You were asking about the symbology of what it meant, and I'm just trying to clarify for the people out here that we are a British Masonic country. We are not a French Masonic country.
And there is a difference.
And you'll notice, like Martin Luther King, when they called him a communist, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, he was siding with the French Masons. And if he was murdered, in my opinion, it would have been by the British Masons.
Okay. We've only got a couple of minutes. Why don't we finish it up on the dollar, and then when we come back, we'll pick up where we were, or better yet, we'll have you...
Well, the dollar says Federal Reserve note.
Yeah.
For one thing, and a note is not money.
No.
A note means it's owed back. It's borrowed.
Yeah.
Now, when Kennedy tried to print the money, it said United States dollar on it, I think.
Or currency. One of the other.
It wasn't a note, was my point.
Right.
And so the Federal Reserve's a private corporation.
Right.
And they're loaning the money into circulation.
Yeah.
And that's what this dollar is. It's borrowed. It's owed back.
a debt-based monetary system.
It's a fiat money.
Look at that pyramid for just a minute here. We've got the time, which is interesting, and I've never considered the pyramid a symbol of this country, and I've often wondered why it was put on the dollar bill. But when people told me who understood Latin what annuit conceptus nordo ordo seclorum translated to, it all fell into place. Annuit, announcing, conceptus, announcing the conception, Nordo, new...
Of the New World Order, of the order of the world.
Yeah.
Listen, at the base of the pyramid, there's some letters, MC, you see them.
Yeah.
When you add up all of those Roman numerals using the Roman numerology, the number comes out to 666.
Most interesting. Stay with...
And now, the talk continues with Lou Epton on the talk station, AM 840 KXNT.
All right, 6 after the hour, Lou Epton back with you here on the AM 840 KXNT. Before we get back to our conversation with Dave Hinkson, I'd like to mention to everyone that tomorrow between 11A and 1P, it's my pleasure to join in this weekend salute to senior Dave Hinkson. Tonight we're talking something I consider, and I hope you do too, so valuable. It is our Constitution, and there is a move afoot, whether you know it or not. They want to rewrite it. They want to destroy what little we have left. They want to take away a lot more of our rights and turn this into a genuine oligarchy. And you don't have to believe me. That's okay. When it happens, you'll say, boy, I wish I'd have listened a little closer. But and the unfortunate thing is, even those who represent us or who we think are representing us right now in the Congress aren't even aware. You know, everything we're doing supposedly is for the kids and for our own safety and security. It's called crisis creation, my friends. The government, those bureaucratic bums themselves, are creating the problems, and then, of course, they've got all the solutions. If we were more of us aware of how much fraud has been going on, I really don't like to think what we'd all be doing right now. In any event, Dave, thanks for waiting. We're back. You wanted me to remind you to bring up a very important issue at the top of the second hour.
Well, I don't think we're ready for it in the discussion. I'm trying to lay some groundwork here.
Let's continue then with what we've got. And those who are calling in, please be patient. We'll get to you.
I want to go back to Abe Lincoln for a second. Okay. Now realize that the citizens of this country were all citizens of the states, like citizen of the Alabama state, for instance.
Right.
The black people were never citizens because the states, especially the southern states, had never granted them.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the northern states. I always get confused. But they were never granted state citizenship.
Right.
Now, when Abe Lincoln signed the proclamation to set the black people free,
yeah,
he had to make them citizens of the 10 square miles.
Oh.
You with me?
Okay.
Now, I said earlier that you have no constitutional rights if you are a maritime citizen, because you can't go into a court where you can argue a judicial right.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
And the judge can't go there either because he's under the maritime president.
Yeah.
So the black people were created. They were the first 14th Amendment citizens. Mm-hmm. Now, since they had no judicial rights, they have, at that point, now, if they were born in a state, they would automatically, at this point, have rights. But I'm talking about when they came in as slaves and were brought here, they had no judicial rights.
Yeah.
So since they had no judicial rights, and all the rights they had were maritime rights under a 10 square mile maritime government, mm-hmm. that was called color of law rights. And that's where the word colored came from. Ooh. They were called colored because they had no judicial rights, not because they were black people.
Okay.
And all the listeners out there that are U.S. citizens are colored people. And I don't care if they're white or not, they're still colored people.
Okay.
You with me?
Yep.
Now, I know that's a shocker of the century, but it's provable.
Provable how?
Well, we have the proof.
What do you mean, we have the proof?
It's in the history books.
Oh, not in the school system, it's not.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. But, you know, that's where the word originally came from.
Okay.
And that's why it came to be.
Okay.
Now, the problem they had is all the citizens of the states had rights, constitutional rights.
Mm-hmm.
And the maritime government could not even enjoin them or couldn't even bring them into court in their venue. So the government had to figure out a way to make all the citizens of the states maritime 10 square mile citizens.
Yeah.
So they passed an amendment, this is all maritimely done,
right,
called the 14th Amendment. You got to realize they were all meeting under the power of the president at this point.
Yeah.
So they created this amendment to the Constitution called the 14th Amendment, which basically allowed anybody to become a U.S. citizen. It didn't make you a U.S. citizen, but it just said you had a right to become one